2020 has been quite a year for OnePlus between a bunch of new phones arriving and the departure of co-founder Carl Pei. And while the most recent Nord phones may have disappointed, the flagship OnePlus phones have been as great as ever. So next up in 2021 is the OnePlus 9 series, arriving earlier in that year than ever before. And while we're still a few months out from the March launch window we've heard from our own sources, there are already plenty of clues out there to show what to expect. Let's start out with the first render leak of the phone. This shot of the OnePlus 9 comes to us from 91 Mobiles, and it's a CAD render leak that shows the basic design of the phone, classic OnePlus traits like a hole-punch selfie camera, what would appear to be a triple camera array around the back. One of those cameras is pretty small though, so we could be in for another 5-megapixel macro situation, likely in addition to wide and ultra-wide. OnePlus has also gone with a flat display in this model, continuing on from the OnePlus 8T, though 91 Mobiles reports that the 9's display will be bigger than the 8T's, and with the same smooth 120Hz refresh rate. The front also looks very Pixel 5-like, with uniform screen borders as opposed to a thicker chin area down below. Look closely and you'll also see OnePlus's trademark alert slider over on the right side there. It's worth noting we're looking at the regular OnePlus 9 in these renders. Numerous leaks have confirmed the existence of a OnePlus 9 Pro as well, so don't be surprised if the higher spec 9 Pro looks a little different from what you're seeing here. Possibilities for the Pro include a curved screen, extra cameras, wireless charging. In other words, a real no-compromises phone compared to what might be a more pared-back OnePlus 9. While leaked specs are pretty light right now, 91 Mobiles was reporting that both phones will use Qualcomm's upcoming Snapdragon 875 chipset, not a surprise as OnePlus flagships have always used the top-end processor from Qualcomm. And if even the base model OnePlus 9 is bigger physically than the 6.55-inch OnePlus 8T, then we'd expect the 9 Pro to be bigger still, likely just as chunky as its predecessor, the rather hefty OnePlus 8 Pro. The OnePlus 9 Pro is also where we'd expect to see the most upgrades around photography. And the one thing we can probably all agree OnePlus needs to upgrade on that front is the telephoto. You can kind of expect them to get another year out of the main and ultra-wide sensors, both of which are still really good. But if we're talking about a $900 plus phone in 2021, then I think it's time to think about a longer telephoto, maybe around 5x, or at the very least, a better sensor and optics for that 3x camera. Charging tech is another cornerstone of any new OnePlus phone, and I'd fully expect the Warp Charge 65 from the OnePlus 8T to make it across to next year's phones. The 8T's charger is pretty neat, it can charge other devices like laptops up to 45 watts, and works with a regular USB-C to C cable. So it's likely we'll see that recycled next year, along with, of course, wireless charging capabilities. On that front, it's pretty interesting to know that OnePlus's sister brand Oppo has figured out 65-watt wireless charging already, demoing the technology this past summer. That's because Oppo often showcases tech that ends up in OnePlus phones, since the brands share certain technologies. That would be a pretty big deal if true, and a massive step up from the 30-watt wireless charging from the OnePlus 8 Pro. On the software side, we've already seen the new design direction of OnePlus's Oxygen OS 11 with the updates to this year's phones over the past couple of months. This look has been a jarring change for some, but there's no denying it is a more unique look compared to the vanilla aesthetic we were used to before. The point releases of Oxygen OS that accompany a new OnePlus phone are generally about adding new features, and we already have a short list of which community ideas could make it into the next OnePlus phones. The winners from OnePlus's Ideas 2.0 contest include things like an FPS counter in game mode, per-app volume controls, lock screen customizations, wireless file transfer between PC and OnePlus phone, a true black dark mode option, and Power Diet, essentially an ultra power saver mode of the kind we've seen in many other brands' phones. We'll see which ones do make the final cut when the OnePlus 9 series breaks cover in March 2021, and of course we'll have full coverage of the phones here on Android Central when they arrive. That's it for now. Be sure to let us know in the comments what you're looking forward to in a next-gen OnePlus phone, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss more OnePlus coverage in future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.